Welcome to another episode of Beautiful, Bad and Bizarre. Today we're here at this absolutely gorgeous churchyard in Stubbings. It's St James the Less, and we're here to bring flowers and visit the final resting place of Lady Docker. On June the 23rd, 1906, Norah Royce Turner was born to 32-year-old Sydney and 27-year-old Amy Turner. She joined her older sister Alma, and later Bernice and Royce completed the family. At the time of Norah's birth, the family lived above a butcher's shop in Derby. The Turner family didn't enjoy immense wealth when Norah was born, but their story isn't a simple rags to riches tale. Norah's father, Sidney, was a hard-working man. At Norah's baptism on July the 17th, 1906, in the parish of All Saints, his occupation was recorded as engineer. But it was Norah's mother, Amy, who was the driving force behind the Turner family's progress. She had high aspirations for their future and aimed to elevate their social standing. Amy's vision focused on enhancing their societal position, leading to greater opportunities and success. Norah grew up embracing her mother's ethos, reflecting Amy's drive and ambition. About 2 years after Norah was born, the Turner family moved to Birmingham, driven by Amy's relentless determination. Sydney started a successful car showroom, and Amy secured an impressive home on Edgbaston Park Road. Rockingham House had 8 bedrooms and servants' quarters, which Amy quickly filled with staff. Despite Sydney's good income, their lavish lifestyle was beyond what most families could afford. In 1922, Sydney made a solemn request of Norah. He asked her to look after the family should anything happen to him. Oblivious to the gravity of her father's words, Norah readily agreed to honour his wish. It was only later that she would come to grasp the profound significance of his words. That year, while Amy played the lady of the manor, Sydney silently struggled with depression and financial ruin. By the time Norah was 16, he was overwhelmed with despair. Tragically, Sydney bought a one-way ticket to Ireland, and before the ferry arrived, ended his life. After her father's tragic death, Norah's family quickly fell apart. They had to sell their home and belongings. With the remaining money, Amy wisely invested in a pub called the 3 Tons in Sutton Coldfield. Despite the pub's financial stability, Amy faced personal and emotional challenges. Seeking a better environment, she decided to relocate and bought another pub, the Swan in Tenbury Wells. However, this move ultimately proved disastrous. After moving to Tenbury Wells, Norah decided to seek her fortune in London. In 1924, aged 18, with her mother Amy's blessing and £100, she set off. Amy had arranged for Norah to stay in a room on Sinclair Street, Kensington, owned by a trusted female friend. Norah's weekly rent was 30 shillings, but she had grand aspirations beyond conventional work. Using much of the £100 from her mother, Norah invested in dance lessons. She chose the renowned Colonel Santos Cassini, who had taught Rudolph Valentino the tango. Despite Cassini's demanding nature, Norah matched his determination and excelled. Cassini soon offered her a position teaching his students. Initially this worked well, but Norah grew dissatisfied with her pay, while Cassini refused to budge. Realising her ambitions were greater than the arrangement allowed, Norah decided to part ways. With her dance background under Cassini, Norah aimed to become a dance hostess at London's iconic Café de Paris. Known for its elegance and celebrity clientele, the venue featured dazzling performances by renowned artists and attracted elites, politicians and royalty, epitomising glamour and exclusivity in the vibrant nightlife of the time. Securing the dance hostess position at the Café de Paris was challenging, as it was highly sought after. Despite this, Norah persistently visited the club daily. Her perseverance eventually paid off, and she was granted an audition. After an impressive and successful audition, Norah excitedly accepted the role of a dance hostess. She socialised and danced with wealthy patrons in an environment that lent itself to romantic encounters. Now, with a comfortable income, Norah was reunited with her mother Amy, and together they relocated to Bayswater. Norah was particularly taken with the book Gentlemen Prefer Blondes by Anita Loos, which was first published in 1925, with the wonderful Marilyn Monroe taking a lead role in the 1953 film of the same name. It seems that she drew inspiration from that book for her own life. Similar to Anita Loos' character Lorelei, Norah, also a dancer like Lorelei, was in search of a wealthy man to provide the luxury she dreamed of.
Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You might not marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help?
She would abruptly leave the Café de Paris under mysterious circumstances, sparking various speculations about the reasons. Yet, 2 years later, to the joy of both herself and her admirers, who'd missed lavishing her with expensive gifts, Norah made a triumphant return to the café. Norah had numerous profitable relationships with older, frequently titled married men who could offer her everything except the official title of wife. In 1938, when Norah was 32, she met Clement Callingham. He was 46 years old and the chairman of Henneke's Wine Merchants. Like many of Norah's other admirers, Callingham was married with a son. It wasn't the perfect match, but soon Norah became pregnant with their child. Callingham insisted that she lose the baby, leaving Norah distraught. But single motherhood in the 1930s was unacceptable. She pleaded with him to let her keep the baby. He threatened to cut all ties with her if she did. His wife had already implicated Norah in their divorce. Callingham soon arranged for Norah to visit a Harley Street doctor. Then, not long after, Norah found herself facing the same situation again. This time, Norah took matters into her own hands. Without discussing it with Callingham, she sold her valuables to fund a termination, while he was away on business. Shortly after this, Clement Callingham's divorce was finalised, and he proposed to Norah. The couple married at the Chelsea Registry Office in 1938. On April the 19th, 1939, Norah gave birth to their son. They named their baby Lance Scott Callingham. With World War II declared on September the 1st, 1939, plans were made for Norah, her mother, baby Lance and his nanny to go to America for safety. However, after serious thought and discussions with friends, Norah decided to stay in England. Defiantly, she told Clement to cancel the travel arrangements, saying, "The Callinghams are staying. Up yours, Herr Hitler." Despite being considered too old for active duty after his service in World War I, Clement joined the Home Guard. Norah, determined to contribute, enlisted in the Mechanised Transport Corps. Before enlisting, during her entry exam, when asked how many potatoes were in a 100-weight sack, she replied, "I'm here to fight a bloody war, not count bloody spuds." Assigned to distribute aid in heavily bombed areas, Norah was deeply affected by the devastation she saw. She felt strong empathy for those living among the ruins and the charred debris, showing genuine compassion for their suffering. Norah frequently ventured into dangerous situations to provide assistance, even saving a child's life despite the risks to her own safety. Concerned for her well-being, Clement eventually intervened and insisted that Norah and Lance evacuate to Wales for safety. This experience haunted Norah with intense nightmares from then on. In June 1943, Norah gave birth to their daughter, Felicity, who sadly passed away at 9 months old on February the 12th, 1944. Following this tragedy, Clement experienced more heartbreak when his eldest son, Guy, was killed by friendly fire at Arnhem, mistaken for a German soldier. Shortly after, his brother Lawrence also died in action. Overwhelmed by grief, Clement took to his bed and, despite efforts to help him, he passed away in July 1945. Norah was devastated, and after Clement's death, she confessed at one point she was so low that she even considered ending her own life, and it was only her son Lance that kept her going. She did not want him to experience what she went through after her own father's death. Depressed and still grieving, she would meet her second husband, Sir William Collins, thinking that at his advanced age, he was 73, that he would be interested in her mother, Amy. Sir William Collins, a self-made millionaire and widower, chaired Cerebos Salt Company Limited and Fortnum and Mason, and he served as a director for Carreras, Cross and Blackwell and King Edward VII Hospital. Despite Norah being a wealthy widow, the Callingham estate was in trust for Lance, leaving her heavily taxed. Jokingly, she remarked about the Labour Prime Minister, "Mr. Attlee is running through my money quicker than I could." When Sir William proposed, Norah was candid about her motives, admitting she sought financial security, while he sought companionship. Their marriage, founded on honesty, suited both their needs. The couple married in October 1946 at Caxton Hall. During the ceremony, Norah saw a different side of her husband-to-be when he argued with her about her outfit as she walked towards him. Despite her anger, Norah was determined, focusing on his wealth and status. The arguments persisted into their luncheon reception at Claridge's. With Norah already contemplating divorce before their honeymoon in New York, she confided to her mother that Sir William was a misogynist. In a short time, Sir William showed signs of illness, confusion, bad temper and depression. That affected Lance and Norah deeply. Realising the toll it took, Norah decided the wealth wasn't worth it and moved with Lance and her mother to a rented house in Maidenhead. Soon after, Sir William's secretary called, warning that Norah would be cut out of the will unless she returned immediately. Norah chose poverty over returning. Then Sir William offered Norah a cruise to America, which she accepted. The trip ended poorly when Norah discovered a will leaving her just £500 and the same for Lance, with a note indicating the reason why. Livid, Norah sought legal counsel upon returning to England, prompting Sir William to reinstate her. Sadly, he soon fell into a coma. Norah arranged for top medical care and played a role in Sir William's recovery. They briefly reconciled, with Norah feeling she had grown to love him and him expressing his love for her. He reinstated her as the main beneficiary of his will. Tragically, their renewed bond was short-lived. That very night, on November the 30th, 1947, Sir William passed away at the age of 74. At his home in Wexham Park, Slough. He was laid to rest in Hampshire. Norah was now known as Britain's richest widow and would soon become even wealthier when she married her third husband, Sir Bernard Docker, who was 10 years her senior. Sir Bernard, a prominent figure in British business and philanthropy, had a distinguished career. He was the managing director of the Birmingham Small Arms Company, known as BSA, and chaired the Daimler Company and the Anglo-Argentine Tramways Company, and he was knighted in 1938 for his service as chairman of Westminster Hospital. Living next to Norah's favourite hotel, Claridge's, Sir Bernard became the target of Norah's determined pursuit. She later confessed in her autobiography, Today I hide my face to think of the way that I deliberately trapped him into marriage, in a way that would, for its audaciousness, have surely won me an honours degree from any marriage bureau. Norah initially sought Sir Bernard's advice on her late husband's charity work and pursued him relentlessly, eventually charming him into courting her. The proposal was prompted by Norah's then 9-year-old son Lance, who asked Sir Bernard, "Do you want to marry Mummy, Uncle Bernard?" To which Bernard replied, "Do you think that's a good idea?" Lance's enthusiastic, "Oh yes, I think it would be wonderful," sealed the deal. On February the 3rd, 1949, Lady Norah Collins, wearing a dark mink coat over a deep rose-coloured dress, married Sir Bernard Docker at Caxton Hall Registry Office, becoming Lady Norah Docker for her third wedding. Their marriage had begun as one of convenience rather than love, yet Norah's honesty about her intentions led them to become one of England's wealthiest couples, embracing luxury cars and high society. They epitomised post-war England's craving for decadence. Their glamorous yet scandalous union, marked by Norah's extravagant lifestyle and sharp wit, made them a constant media sensation. Despite Sir Bernard's indulgence towards Norah, their marriage was often embroiled in scandals and controversies, fuelled by her love for luxury and her outspoken personality, which frequently drew both attention and criticism from the press. In July 1949, shortly after their wedding, Lady Norah and Sir Bernard Docker experienced their first burglary, triggering a series of similar incidents. Thieves stole £52,400 worth of jewellery from their Mayfair home, including pearls, diamonds, emeralds, and Lady Norah's cherished engagement ring, once owned by Sir Bernard's mother. This theft was at the time the largest jewel heist since 1937, when approximately £40,000 worth of jewellery was stolen from the residence of Sir Felix Cassell, KC. In 1951, during a visit to Monaco, Lady Norah Docker unintentionally offended Prince Rainier with a controversial remark at a charity gala. Though the exact comment isn't extensively documented, it's believed Norah expressed dissatisfaction with the ticket price and the entertainment quality. This incident caused a stir, and it strained relations between Lady Docker and the Monegasque royal family. Lady Docker further made headlines when she slapped a croupier she felt had insulted her, resulting in her immediate ban from all Monaco casinos. Covered widely by the media, this event underscored Norah's flamboyant and controversial persona. Norah Docker's fame was rapidly increasing by 1951 with her creation of the Golden Daimler. Facing post-war economic challenges and stiff competition, Daimler gave Norah creative freedom to innovate. While Daimler traditionally focused on producing cars for the British monarchy, Norah recognised the need for a broader appeal. The introduction of the Gold Daimler strategically positioned Daimler in the luxury car market, generating significant publicity and showcasing craftsmanship and innovation. The iconic vehicle revitalised Daimler's brand image, appealing to affluent customers despite economic difficulties. Norah's success led her to repeat the formula with other iconic Daimler designs, including the 1952 Blue Clover Daimler featuring mink upholstery and a built-in cocktail cabinet. 1953 saw the birth of the Silver Flash, with 1954 being the year of the Stardust, and in 1955 it was the Golden Zebra with gold accents and zebra skin upholstery. Her innovations continued to captivate, marking her influence in luxury automotive design. The Docker family owned the luxurious yacht Shamara, completed in 1938. Requisitioned by the Royal Navy during the war, it was returned in 1945 and became Norah and Sir Bernard's most prized possession. Norah often said Shamara brought her more happiness than anything else that she owned. Aristocrats and celebrities eagerly sought invitations to the yacht. Norah organised a memorable event by inviting miners to a BSA factory, highlighting their role in supplying coal for the factory furnace. This led to an invitation for Norah and Sir Bernard to visit their mine in March 1954. Norah, dressed in practical attire, including a white pit helmet, blue overalls and brown brogues, descended 858 feet underground. She found the experience exhilarating and later reciprocated by inviting the miners to tour Shamara that was docked in Southampton. On the 25th of June that year, 33 Leeds miners were honoured guests aboard Sir Bernard and Lady Norah's yacht. They joined for a cruise around the Isle of Wight. 47-year-old Lady Docker wore black trousers and a Shamara sailor sweater topped with a sailor's hat. Unfortunately, Norah had double booked herself that day. She had a prior commitment to open a charity fete. Instead, Norah sent her apologies and a £200 donation. During the 6-hour cruise, the miners enjoyed luxury with champagne and a feast of game pie, baron of beef, salmon, lobster, roast pheasant, peach flan, and strawberries with cream. It was a great success. My own interest in Lady Docker was sparked through Diana Dawes. Diana and Lady Norah first met when they were both invited to judge a fancy dress competition at Poole Harbour Yacht Club during Diana's filming of Value for Money. That year, in 1955, Norah once again stirred up scandal in Monaco by flaunting the golden zebra, her custom Daimler adorned with gold-plated fittings and zebra skin upholstery, at high society events. The car's extravagant display sparked sharp criticism for its opulence. Despite this, Monaco valued the Dockers' financial contributions, especially their patronage of the casinos. This led to an invitation to the 1956 wedding of Prince Rainier and Hollywood film star Grace Kelly. Norah was approached by London's Sunday Graphic newspaper to share her perspectives on the events surrounding the wedding, the parties, the ceremony itself, the clothes, to which she eagerly agreed. More trouble arose before the wedding when the Dockers, who had booked a room at an exclusive hotel in Monaco, were informed that the prince had reserved the entire hotel and the Dockers would have to go elsewhere. Norah was furious and sent a letter to the prince. Sir Bernard intervened to resolve the dispute, and the tensions eased thereafter. Lady Norah and Sir Bernard attended the wedding. Norah expressed her discontent through articles she wrote for the Sunday Graphic. In her writings, she openly criticised Princess Grace and the wedding itself. This behaviour did not reflect well on Norah, yet it appeared she couldn't resist voicing her opinions. The Dockers' reputation was rapidly declining due to mounting criticism of Lady Docker's demeanour and their extravagant spending habits, including the accusation of the use of BSA company funds for personal luxuries. In August 1956, allegations of financial misconduct by Sir Bernard surfaced, leading to a scandal and his eventual dismissal from the company that year. Approached for a new television series, the Dockers became reality TV stars with At Home with the Dockers, airing on British television in 1957. Produced by Associated Rediffusion, the show offered a peek into their lavish lifestyle, featuring their extravagant home, parties and luxury cars. While it captivated the public and solidified Lady Norah's flamboyant reputation, it also drew criticism for glamorising excessive wealth, sparking further media scrutiny and public backlash. In 1958, Norah found herself embroiled in more scandal in Monaco when she hosted an outrageously lavish birthday party aboard the Dockers' yacht Shamara. The event featured extravagant decorations and a firework display, drawing widespread criticism for its opulence during challenging economic times. This further tarnished the Dockers' reputation. Tensions peaked as the Dockers were expelled from Monaco following a heated incident. Invited to the christening of Prince Rainier and Princess Grace's son Albert, Norah brought her son Lance, who was celebrating his 19th birthday. Despite bringing lavish gifts, Lance was denied entry due to lacking an official invitation. This upset Lady Docker, who left the palace angrily and later criticised Monaco at a casino gala. Accused of disrespecting the royal family and allegedly tearing a Monegasque flag, denied by Sir Bernard, Norah admitted to tearing a paper flag in frustration at a Monte Carlo hotel over Lance's exclusion. Sir Bernard enlisted a solicitor to speak with Prince Rainier on their behalf. The prince offered to readmit them if Norah issued a public apology, but she refused. Once again, in March 1959, disaster struck when over £100,000 worth of jewellery was stolen from Lady Docker's navy blue Rolls-Royce while it was parked outside the Royal Hotel in Southampton. Lady Docker said, "I am surprised that anyone could have got into the car because the doors are fitted with very special keys." She described the theft as most distressing. By the 1960s, as a consequence of the financial and social decline experienced by the couple, they would have to sell off some of their assets. But despite this, they continue to live lavishly, often seen out at high-profile events, maintaining their public personas. In 1969, her autobiography, Norah, the Autobiography of Lady Docker, was ghostwritten and edited by show business columnist Don Short. It's the only authorised book about Norah Docker. The introduction reads, "In some parts I fear you will condemn me for my mistakes and my folly, but I trust you will come to understand me. At least I have not attempted to conceal anything from you, and my conscience is calm, for I have told all with honesty. All I ask is that you judge me with the same honesty." Towards the end of the book, she wrote, "Now we feel alone in this world, long since forgotten by those we helped." The circumstances of the Dockers deteriorated rapidly, and by the 1970s they faced increasing financial struggles. Multiple lawsuits forced them to sell their remaining assets, including their cherished yacht, Shamara. Sir Bernard's health began to decline, compounding their difficulties. Lady Norah had to manage both his care and their dwindling finances. The Dockers spent their last years in Jersey and Palma, Mallorca, seeking a quieter life away from the limelight. However, it wasn't long before Sir Bernard's health rapidly worsened, and Norah found it increasingly difficult to cope. Sir Bernard had been showing signs of Alzheimer's disease for some time. They returned to England, where Norah arranged for Bernard to stay in a care home in Dorset. In 1978, Norah's husband of 30 years sadly passed away at the age of 81, marking the end of an era for a couple who were once the pinnacle of high society. 5 years later, on December the 11th, 1983, Lady Norah Royce Docker passed away peacefully in her sleep at the Great Western Royal Hotel, also known as the Paddington Railway Hotel, where she had been residing. She was 77 years old. Known for her extravagant lifestyle that captured Europe's attention in the post-war years, Norah, often called Naughty Norah, was laid to rest here at St James the Less Church in Stubbings, near Maidenhead. She was buried beside her third husband, Sir Bernard Docker, with her first husband, Clement Callingham, just behind her to her right. Also buried in the Callingham family plot are her mother Amy and her infant daughter Felicity. Norah's son, Lance Callingham, led a small group of mourners in a brief service that lasted just 8 minutes. The service included a hymn, a reading and prayers, marking the farewell to a woman whose life had been marked by glamour and notoriety. The subdued funeral sharply contrasted with the vibrant life of Norah, criticised for her extravagance and embroiled in financial downfalls, scandals and disputes, seen as a blunt, outspoken social climber who married for money. She was impulsive and vain, prioritising wealth and image. Yet Norah was also generous, charismatic and sociable, charming people from all walks of life. She mingled with royalty, famous film stars, and the London gangster Billy Hill. Bold and confident, she thrived in a male-dominated business world with a keen eye for style and detail. She embraced life fully. Her journey was a mix of glamour, generosity, controversy and scandal. Norah had a particular love for playing marbles and was known to stop her car if she saw children playing marbles in the street, soon joining in the fun. One of my most favourite quotes from Norah is, "I could not cook an egg, but had cooked the world and washed it down with pink champagne." Finally, in her 1969 autobiography, Norah had poignantly written, "The world has gone sour for us. One has got to go on because one can never go back. I shall not be sorry to leave this world as I know it today. It is no longer big enough for me to live in because I have exhausted all there is to do. There is no longer anything that sparks my ambition. There are no more challenges left to meet. This party is over. On to the next one." Norah's son Lance died in 1992, aged 53. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you've enjoyed the video and finding out more about the life of the incredible Lady Docker. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a comment below and like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.